everyone. Welcome to your first lesson synthesis. Congratulations on making it this far. So in this video, we're going to try to answer these two questions. Do all functions have inverses? And how are odd functions related to their inverses? Okay, so if you remember in Algebra 2, whenever we have a graph, in order to prove that it has an inverse function, right? We want it to pass this thing called the horizontal line test. So if I have a quadratic, right, this does not pass my horizontal line test, right? And whenever I reflect it over the line y equals x, remember y equals x is what we reflect over to get our inverse, then this would be something like this, okay? All right. So, but what we're talking about is odd functions, right? And odd functions are I can rotate them around 180 degrees, right? And they would be the exact same. So here an example would be x to the power of 3. Another way you can think about an odd function is that if you reflect it over the x and the y-axis, then you get the exact same function, right? So if you reflect this over the y-axis, it'd be like this. And then if you would reflect it over the x-axis, this would come up here, this would come down here, and then we would have the exact same function, right? Okay. Okay, but we're talking about this function, the green one. So this does pass my horizontal line test, right? So if we use the help of Desmos, we have the line y equals x, right? And if I have y equals x cubed, right? In order to graph the inverse of that, you switch your x and y values. So here, if I graph x equals y cubed, that would be the blue graph, right? And so here, this does have an inverse function, right? But if we look at um, this function right here, this still is an odd function, right? So if I have f of x, if I reflect it over the y-axis and also the x-axis, or sorry, the x-axis and the y-axis, I still get the exact same function. So this is an odd function, okay? This is an odd function. But if you think about it, this does not pass the horizontal line test, right? It passes here, but once we get here, it is not passing the horizontal line test, right? Therefore, if I would graph this, if I would switch my x's and y's, then this is not an actual function, right? In order for there to be an actual function, it has to pass the vertical line test, and that is not happening here, okay? So, do all odd functions have inverses? The answer would be no. Okay, there are some odd functions that do not pass the horizontal line test. Okay, now how are odd functions related to their inverses? Okay, well, if you think about it, they're just going to be reflected over the line y equals x. Okay, and so they're related to each other by reflecting over the line y equals x. Therefore, you can just replace them. So y would be x and x would be y. And so they're inverses of each other that way. Okay, so I would say they're related by being they are reflected over the line y equals x. Okay, all right, go ahead and start working on your cooldown.